Okay, so we're going to start with the scenario. The players are aboard a dropship with their avatars, and they need to make landfall on this planet, which is being assaulted by a fleet of necromancers. So how you arrive into a battle like this in the Magitech Chronicles is through the Umbral Depths. You have to open something called a fissure, which cracks open reality and allows you to escape from the shadow realm beneath our reality. The ship comes through. This is the dropship representing our PCs. And then it's going to attempt to make landfall. Now we're going to go through a standard combat, and I will show you some quick dice rolls for initiative and how the combat resolves. So our dropship has 5 dice for initiative. We're going to add those up total. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points. The captain also has a +2 bonus. That gives us a total of 17. 17 initiative, which means they're going first, and that's very, very important. The Necromancers are going to have shared initiative for their fighters. They have heavy Condor fighters, which only have 3 dice. And you can see they rolled pretty well, so they are going on 12. And then the Summon Minion has a 4 agility. That's this flying space ghost you see here. Okay, he's going to 8, 10, 11. He's actually going the slowest. So the way initiative works is it's reversed order. The very first thing that'll happen is the enemy at the lowest, 11, will go first. And he's going to move 6. So that's 6 inches. Planning to attack this dropship. The fighters are next. They are also going to move 6 inches. And we're going to go ahead and grab a tape measure here. And the way ships work is you can do 6 on the first increment if that's their base speed. But then they can choose next turn, do I want to accelerate up to 12 or do I want to drop back down to 0? And they can accelerate up to 3 times. They can get up to 18 inches on these fighters. Faster fighters obviously can stack a lot higher. So they're trying to move in and intercept. Now, this is the advantage of going first on initiative. You can see the dropship is just going to pass them by. And the reason for that is the dropship's weapons are omnidirectional. It has turrets along the top. So it can still fire at the fighters even though it's not facing them. Whereas the fighters are facing away. So the enemy cannot attack the dropship, but the dropship can attack the enemy. And that's the bonus it's got here for having 1 initiative. It's going to run right past them and head down to lower orbit. So our pilot has a 5 range skill, and the ship has a 5 agility. He's merged with the core currently. That gives him a total of 10 dice. He has mastery, so we're going to count anything that is a 4, 5, or 6. I'm just going to remove the ones that aren't. And as you can see, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 successes, which is great. That goes against the dodge of the other ship. And these ships are pretty fast because moving is going to increase the difficulty of hitting them. So their total with their movement modifier is going to be 5. And he rolled 7. That's 2 over. That means everything hits. The ship has 4 Earth Shatter cannons. Each one of them does 24 base damage. And so with 4, you've got, 96? But, yeah, okay, so initially it's just going to do the full 96, and here's the reason why. Earth Shatter cannons do double damage against armor, but they're hitting this ship's field. So they do 96 damage to it, very nearly destroy its field, and then the ship gets a chance to regenerate some of that field. A Condor has a recharge of 20, so it recharges 20 points of its field, but it's still really damaged, and if it gets shot again, it's probably going to blow up. On the next round, now that we've established initiative, the enemy ships get to go again. He's going to accelerate to 12, which means he'll go about 6 inches out to here. He's turning gradually as he's going, and then he's going to come back around here. So he's got a pretty good view on his opponent. He kind of knows what the destination is and is expecting them to still be in range. This one's going to do the same thing. So about 6 inches out to here, and then curving around to here, very, very close. A Summon Minion can just turn in place and come back, and so it's going to move up to the front of the ship. And now the shuttle is going to move. And it's heading around the curvature of the planet and firing again at this ship. But this time, both enemy fighters can fire back. So we're going to go with with attacks in order of lowest initiative. But all attacks resolve, meaning everybody gets to fire. Even if somebody's blown up, their attacks still went off this round. First Condor, this is the one with the wounded field, is going to fire a Greater Soul Drain Cannon and use its XL missile launcher. He only has 8 dice. And his big problem is he needs 6 successes. The dropship is going very, very fast, and it's very difficult to hit. And he only gets 5, so he misses. The other one is going to try the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He only got 3 successes, so they miss. Now it's the dropship's turn, and granted, the pilot is a veteran, which is why he's got the advantage. He was already going at speed when he came through the fissure, so he's harder to hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally, oh, there's another one, 5, perfect. So he hits with 1 over. He's going to hit that same ship. The first Earth Shatter cannon hits the field, and when it does so, it detonates the field, which causes a critical. A 3, let's take a look at our critical chart here. Arm damaged, or in the case of a fighter, wing blown off. So he's not going to feel that in space, but if he tries to go into an atmosphere, that would make him unable to fly, meaning he can no longer go into an atmosphere, but doesn't affect him in any other way. Unfortunately, the other 3 shots do double damage. 72 times 2 is 144 total. It's only got 96 armor, so it blows the fighter up. It's destroyed. Top of round 3, you can see how fast this goes. Fighter's curving back around. Again, he's got 12, so he's going like so. But this time, 360 degrees. The fighter flies up and around the planet and is coming back around this way. So he's got a clear line of sight on the fighter. Fighter can fire at him. Fighter has to fire first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dice. But again, he needs 6 successes, which is very unlikely. 1, 2, 3, 4, he misses. And the dropship's going to go ahead and tag him, or attempt to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes, so his cannons are doing extra damage. They're going to do 25 a pop for a total of 100. That perfectly detonates the field, which causes a critical. Blows off a wing on this one as well. Top of the next round, the fighter flees. So it's heading off towards the sun because it needs to report to its masters. The summon minion tries to attack again. I'm not going to roll that out because the ship can't be harmed by it. A summon minion doesn't have anything but magical attacks, and cores are immune to magical attacks. So avatars and any dropship equipped with a ship class core is just immune to it. So it's just going to fire at it when it gets its chance and blow away the summon minion. So this is going to get killed too. But that one fighter is going to be a problem because it's probably going to report to the necromancers that they're landing. And that's going to matter in a minute. So we'll jump into the ground combat and take it from there, and you can see how they deploy their avatars. Okay, so we've got to start out combat by rolling initiative for all of our combatants. This is going to stay the same for the entire match. And initiative works a little differently than it does in some games. You actually go in reverse order, so if you have a low initiative, you're going to have to act first, and then other people are going to get to react to you. And the reason for that is all actions are going to complete, regardless of what happens during the round. So there is no alpha striking half of somebody's army and they don't get to fire back. Everybody fires every round. And let's see what that looks like in practice. So we're going to start with our initiative. And I'm going to go avatar by avatar, just jot it down on a piece of paper. So that's your agility in dice. Plus, if your pilot has an archetype bonus, you're going to add that as a flat numeric bonus. So for our cruise pilot, we've got 7. They have 2 base. That's going to give them a 9 initiative. The Achilles is rolling 4 dice. So we've got 11, 13 plus 2 is 15. And now we're going to proceed directly to combat, and you'll start seeing exactly how this works. Okay, it took me about 7 minutes to set up the scenario. Now that we have initiative, we can get started with the movement phase. What you're seeing is 2 enemy forces in campaign mode. We have heroes that are coming down to fight these necromancers that have invaded their world. The necromancers are setting up a compound where they can begin gathering the locals and harvesting them. They're going to take all the people on the planet away, and nobody knows what the necromancers do with them, but given that they work with bodies, we can guess. Our heroes want to stop them, but they're on a timer. They have 5 rounds to blow up that satellite emplacement. If they fail, the enemy will detect them and reinforcements will come. Now they've had to shut down their dropship drive because the dropship has a core which can be detected. So if it's alive, it's going to be seen from orbit. they're smaller and much more difficult to scan in their avatars, and being in a forest, they might be able to avoid detection. So they want to try to take out their enemies without having to use the dropship's weaponry. If they can succeed, they're going to win the fight. If they fail, reinforcements show up. That means more models will be added to the map for the enemy, and the dropship will come online on their side because there's no longer a reason for them to keep it hidden. What they would do at that point is they'd actually lost the scenario effectively and would need to retreat. So they'll get into their dropship and take off and try to find another place to land. But if in 5 rounds they can destroy the satellite emplacement, then they should have no problems. And I have stacked the avatars very intentionally. There are 8 aspects of magic, and in this case, I'm using fire. So you're going to see just how broken fire can be when it is stacked, because it inflicts something called lingering damage. If you do 10 points of lingering damage, at the end of the round, that unit's going to take 10 lingering fire. It's going to decrement down to 9 that they'll take next round, and then 8, and then 7. And so it stacks and it lasts for a really long time. It's, if you've played video games like World of Warcraft, it's a damage over time. When you stack a lot of those, it ends really badly for your opponent. And so I expect the fire mechs to win in this instance because the necromancers are not quite as tailored against it. There are ways to counter lingering damage. You can use water magic to put it out. You can use spirit magic, which they have access to give wards, which is going to dampen some of them. But ultimately, I predict they're going to overwhelm the enemy force. And as the game master, that's sort of what I need to know going in, based on points. Have I set up a winnable scenario? Okay, all that said, let's get into movement. So we have our initiative, and we start with the lowest person, which is a 9, which is both the Reaper and the Cruise. So I'm gonna let the Reaper move first, and the Reaper has a movement of 2, but it also has a jump pack, so it can jump up to 6 if it wants to. The further it moves, the harder it's going to be to hit. So it's going to go the full 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And land, why don't we say here, to give itself partial cover. The Cruise is also going to move. Our Cruise, looking at his character sheet here, has a speed of 5. So he's going in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next would be the Unliving Titan. The Unliving Titan, he has a movement of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next comes the Hades, and then our Achilles. So the Hades has a speed of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to come up on the side here because he understands he's got 2 opponents coming in. This big tree that you can see right here is in the way, so that's going to get him full cover until these guys move. And this is where the advantage of initiative really lies. If you're going faster on initiative, you see where people are standing and can then put yourself in an advantageous position. So our Achilles is going to move 10. He's one of the fastest mechs out there. He's really been juiced for speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got partial cover, but can get a shot on that guy. And then finally we have the Romulus and the Voria. The Romulus is going to use his jump pack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Land right there. He is kind of out in the open, which is a weakness, but he also has a clear shot at his opponent. And then the Voria is going to move last. 1, 2, 3. The Voria could have moved further, but isn't going to. And as you're going to see, actually, we'll move 4. They want full cover as much as they can get it. Now the Voria is a healing mech, so it's going to use life magic to replenish the field of the other avatars, and that's why it doesn't want to be in direct combat. And thus ends movement. We finish the movement phase. Next, after movement, comes declare attacks, and then we're going to go ahead and calculate the damage, and that kind of happens all at once. And once again, we are starting with the slowest mechs. That's going to be the Cruise on 9, and they're going to have to decide who they want to shoot. The Cruise has some choices to make. They've got 8 large fire lasers. It's only going to give them a range of 8 inches, so that's going to somewhat limit the targets they can hit. Taking a look at our map here, I'm just counting it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can hit either the Unliving Titan or the Reaper, and they have elected to hit the Unliving Titan because they see that as the biggest threat. So we're doing 1 roll for all attacks. That's going to be their agility, which is 3 for the Cruise. It's going to add an additional 5 because the pilot is a veteran. So 8 dice, and they have mastery, which means they're going to succeed on a 4+, which is traditional Magitech Chronicles rules. So anything that is a 4 or higher is a success. You can see we got 6 successes. The opponent's defense is dodge plus their movement modifier. So +1 for the movement modifier, +1 from the cruise's movement modifiers, a total of DT2, plus the dodge of 2. So they needed 4, so we're going to take away 4 of those successes. That leaves you 2 extra successes. And these 2 extra successes apply to each of the weapon groups. There are 4 different weapon groups, 4 pairs of large lasers, so it gets added 4 different times. So all of the large lasers are hitting. Each one does a base damage of 9 and then has 3 lingering fire. So we are inflicting a total of 24 lingering fire plus 8 from the extra successes. So 32 lingering fire, and 36 plus 8 would be 44 regular damage. So we're going to our Unliving Titan here. He's taken 44 base damage, but more importantly, he has 32 lingering fire. So at the end of the turn, he'll take 32, and then next round, he'll take 31, and so on and so forth, except he's going to keep getting shot. So I'm checking the cruise off on initiative 1. We're moving to the next person, which is the Reaper. The Reaper's going to light the cruise up because that's the closest target. The Reaper has the same dice because they are also a veteran pilot, so they have 8. They also need a 4+. Okay, they got exactly 4 successes. Now, unfortunately for them, the Reaper has a base dodge of 3, +1 for moving, over 3, because every 3 squares that you move is going to give you move modifier of 1. And the Reaper also moves, so they have a move modifier of 1. So they needed 5 successes to hit and only got 4. So the Reaper fires a Soul Drain cannon. The Soul Drain cannon misses. 2 flights of XL missiles flash over the head, mostly hitting trees. But the cruise was just moving too fast and managed to dodge the volley. So that was 9. Now the Reaper and cruise have gone. Next, we're looking at the Unliving Titan, who only has a melee weapon. So that club is going to just annihilate an avatar if it hits them. It's going to do 100 base damage, plus if they have extra successes, that'll increase the damage. Nobody wants to get hit by that, but because it's not a melee, we're just gonna skip the rest of its turn because it can't do anything. So now we're up to 14, which is the Hades. Now the Hades pilot's not quite as good. They have a 4, so they're only rolling 7 dice. The Hades is firing all 3 of its disintegrators. Disintegrators are one of the most powerful weapons in the game. They inflict a lot of raw damage. They're going to do 30 damage a pop. So if all 3 of these hit, that's 90 damage right off the top. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are aiming for a Romulus right here. The Romulus gets a movement modifier of 2. They only have a dodge of 2, so that'll be enough to hit, but no extra successes. So the Hades actually misses because it needed 5 successes and got 4. Next, we've got the Achilles. The Achilles is going to go ahead and light up the Hades. They are also a little bit less of a veteran pilot. Looks like their side, though, is rolling better. They got 4 successes, which misses. So they needed dodge and then +2 movement modifier, and they just couldn't hit it. And then lastly, we have the Romulus. Now the Romulus is at nice close range here, so they can use their large fire lasers and their small lasers, and they're gonna fire them all. And they also have 7 dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Only 3 successes and they missed. So you can see in the first round when everybody's running up to each other, there often are a lot of misses. The more skilled pilots are, the better off you are. And if you have a way to get edge, that's gonna make it way, way easier to hit. And then finally, you've got the Voria also going on 18. And since nobody on her side has been damaged, there's no reason for her to heal anything. So she's going to go ahead and use her only weapon, a large laser, a single large life laser. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She also misses. So at the end of the first round, you can see only a couple of hits happened. It looks like the cruise did quite a bit of damage and nobody else did. Next round, people are going to be moving a lot less. Movement modifiers will be lower and they'll start connecting more frequently. Okay, so the end of turn 1, the very last phase, would be recharge. If any of the avatars had taken significant damage, they would use the recharge to recharge their field. Since they have not, they're going to use it to replenish any magic they spent firing their weapons. So you fire weapons, that drains magic from the core. They've now recharged that. The only thing that's really taken any damage is the Unliving Titan, and it doesn't have a field, it just has a lot of armor. Okay, so we're on movement for turn 2. We're going to use the same exact initiative. We're starting with our crews here. He's going to move 3, 1, 2, 3. And the reason for that is that's going to give him +1 movement modifier. It's every 3 squares, so it's a sweet spot. But he's not close enough to the Titan, the unliving Titan, that it can hit him, which is going to force it to move up to him. He's kind of predicting that's going to happen. The Reaper realizes that moving is a bad idea and is simply going to step around here to peek around the tree and be able to fire. So it's not generating a movement modifier, it's just moving 1 square. Next would be the unliving Titan, and predictably, it gives a brawl and then charges forward. Next would be the Hades and then the Achilles. The Hades is actually going to step back 2, because that's enough that it will not generate a movement modifier, but does give it a little more range since it sees that its opponents are probably going to close in on it. The Achilles actually moves 7, because while that's going to generate a movement modifier of 2, make it really hard to hit, it's going to get him into the flanking position on his target, the Hades. Okay, we've got the Romulus and the Voria are the last 2. The Romulus steps forward 2, 1, 2. The Voria is just going to step out 1 because the Voria realizes the cruise is probably going to get smacked and wants to stand by to hit the cruise with its replenishers. And you can see the huge advantage of going last because you get to react to, okay, where is everybody else? And now I've put it in a position where I can't be shot and I can deliver my attacks easily. So forcing people to go first is obviously a pretty big disadvantage. Okay, that's complete movement for phase 2. Let's get into the rolling. Okay, so round 2 rolling begins. We're going to start again with the cruise. He is going to unload 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of his fire lasers again, which is going to really drain his core quite a bit. Let's see how he does. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. There's no movement modifiers. He only needed 2, so that's 2 over. That means he does literally precisely the same damage as he did last time, which is 44 base damage and 32 more lingering. We have 31 lingering remaining, so we're now up to 63 lingering damage. That starts to add up really, really quickly. And the Titan has taken a total of 120 damage. Now it's got 500 armor, so it's going to take a while for that to deplete, but you can see with the fire damage adding up quickly, it's only going to be a few rounds before that thing is down. Next come our Reaper. They're going to go ahead and try to shoot the cruise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not great for the cruise. So they are being hit with a greater soul drain cannon, and at present that's going to do 20 damage base plus the extra successes. They only needed 2. That's 5 extra successes. So it does 25 damage and it recharges 25 magic on the core. So basically the shot is free. It doesn't take any magic from the Reaper's core, and it inflicts 25 damage on the cruise's field. So we'll jot that down for the cruise. Minus 25 field. Okay, those are the 9s. We're on 11, so the unliving Titan finally gets to swing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm giving it 9 dice. It's rolling against the cruise's brace, which is only 2. It got 3 successes, which is 1 over, and really all that mattered was the initial hit because it's base 100. So 100 damage plus the 1 extra. Each extra point of damage on a large attack like this is going to give it 10 more, so it's 110 damage from that club. Now the cruise, unfortunately for it, has precisely 110 shields. It's got 60 base and 50 from its spell shield. So it raises its spell shield, which gets hit. The field on the spell shield, or excuse me, the field on the core shield it's called. The field on the core shield is breached, and then its field is breached, and whenever you breach a field, you roll a critical. So the first attack to breach a field is going to be a crit. Oh, that's not good. On the critical chart, 6 is double damage. So that's really the worst thing that can happen. That means it takes an additional 100 damage, and the cruise only has 105 armor. It had also, my mistake, taken 25 damage from the Reaper, which means this attack is enough to destroy it. So the club punches through its field, crushes its skull, knocks off an arm, and our cruise is down. The pilot is still fine. The pilot is merged with the core, but what'll happen is when it ejects from the core, which has now been disabled by this attack, next round, he's going to land wherever he entered from, which was probably from the cockpit. The cockpit has been destroyed. So he's going to land on the ground next to his avatar in the middle of a battlefield. Takes care of the Titan. Now we're looking at the Hades. It's got the Romulus in its field of fire, so it's going to go ahead and hit the Romulus. 1, 2, 3, 7. 3 successes. He's starting to feel the pressure. 3 successes isn't enough to hit, so he's going to stay at that. There's no extra damage, but the Romulus only has a 3 dodge, and there are no movement modifiers this round. That's 60 points of damage to the Romulus's field. The Romulus is a 98 base field, so it does a huge amount of damage to it, but does not breach it. Okay, that was on 14. On 15 comes the Achilles, which is now in its opponent's backfield, and that's going to give him edge, which is 2 extra successes. So 2 base successes, and then he's rolling his 7 dice. And only getting 1 success, so that's 3. He's going to spend his luck to re-roll the failed dice on that roll. So you keep your success, you just roll the failures again, and that gets him an additional 4 more successes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. So he only needed 3 successes to hit, that's 2 over, and that's going to add to all of his weapon groups, and the Romulus is firing 4 large fire lasers and 6 small lasers. So the 6 are clustered, they're one group, and that means that their lingering fire is only going to increase by 2, it'll go from 6 to 8. It'll also add to the large fire lasers twice, so that's 4 more. So 12, 16, and 8 is 24 lingering fire damage to the Hades. And that's the first time he's taken damage. He also takes an additional base, 36 plus 4 is 40, and then 12 plus 2 is 14, so 54. So let's go take a look at our Hades and see what kind of field we're working with. He's only got a 75 field. So when the lingering damage ticks, it would breach the field, except he'll already have used his recharge at that point, and the recharge is going to raise his field by 30. So the Hades has a very high recharge, so he'll add 30 to his field and then take away 24. So it's not going to breach, his field is still up. The Achilles is now gone. The last 2 to fire are the Romulus and the Voria, and this is where things are looking really, really bad for that poor Hades. 3, 4 successes, that'll hit. So it's enough damage to overload the field. Let's go ahead and roll our critical. I believe it's going to be enough to destroy the Avatar either way, no matter what it does, but we should still see what the critical hit does. 2 on the chart, leg damage, -1 speed, and the pilot needs to make a athletics check, DT5. So this is the Hades athletics check. They've got 3 for agility, 3 for the skill. But they need 5 successes. They fail, so they are knocked prone. That means they're going to have to spend next round getting up, but unfortunately, the lingering damage is going to destroy the mech because they've taken so much fire damage from both of their combatants. So that takes care of that. So this is the battlefield at the beginning of the 3rd round of combat. The unliving Titan has taken quite a bit of fire damage and is probably going to be down in a couple more rounds no matter what happens. However, they were able to destroy the crews. This Reaper here is still more or less at full health and hasn't been impacted, but his companion over there, the Hades, has been destroyed. And so now the heroes have a choice. Do they want to finish off their opponents, or do they want to go for the array? Because destroying the array is the objective, and they've only got 3 more rounds to do it, so they'll have to make a decision this round. So we're back to movement. Cruz is down, so he's not moving, obviously. The Reaper is. The Reaper is... What are you going to do, Reaper? I guess advancing on the Voria? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got a bit of a movement modifier, but he wants to get some cover there, and he's trying to block the push to destroy the satellite because he understands now his opponents are trying to end that. Okay, on 11 is the Unliving Titan. He's already taken care of the crew, so he's looking for his next target. He sees the Voria over here. Everybody understands what a life core mech is and that they can heal. So he's trying to take care of that quickly. Hades is down and can't move. So the next would be the Achilles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He went as far as he could go to just get 1 movement modifier, so he's within range of unloading all of his lasers, his large fire lasers, on his opponent. And we've got the Romulus and the Voria. 3, that'll get him a clean shot. So he moves 3, that's gonna give him a movement modifier of 1 and put him in a position to fire. And the Voria is not stupid. The Voria is going to hightail it out of there and get behind this tree and then turn around. So you can see melee's at a pretty big disadvantage if it's a creature, because if you have slow initiative, you run up to something and then it just runs away from you. So now he can't really swing his club and has been effectively neutralized until he can get into melee with something, which is difficult to do with the failed initiative. And that will conclude movement for round 3. Okay, movement for round 4. Things are going to be a little bit different because now we're running out of time to destroy this satellite array. The Unliving Titan's going to move first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gets up into melee. The Reaper is opting not to move. Doesn't want to generate that movement modifier. Next would be the Achilles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he wants to go as far as he can without getting that second movement point, and also is blocking the Reaper from shooting him with that tree, so he's got cover. So now he'll be able to unload on that solar array and maybe even take it out. And then we've got the Romulus and the Voria. Both of them are simply going to take 2 steps back. 1, 2. 1, 2. So they're out of range of the giant and can fire with minimal penalties, because they can see this thing is nearly destroyed. Now, for sake of argument, because the lingering fire damage is going to destroy it, and neither one of them has a clear shot on their last opponent, I'm not going to resolve those attacks. We'll resolve the attack of the Achilles and the attack of the Reaper for turn 4. Okay, so the Reaper is going to go ahead and fire. Let's get his 8 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can hit the Romulus, but the Romulus has heavy cover, and that's going to increase the DT by 2. So he needs a 5 base to hit on his 8 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He hits. So no extra successes, but he does do that base damage, and he's going to inflict an additional 20 damage to the Romulus's field. The Voria is going to choose, when its initiative passes, to use its replenishers to replenish the Romulus's fields. Normally, you'd need to roll a hit. Actually, I should make it roll a hit. We'll roll it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 3 successes will hit. So the Reaper shoots the Romulus and does some damage to its field. The Voria recharges that. Now the Romulus is going to take its shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I said we weren't going to roll this out because it's firing at the Unliving Titan. So we're just going to skip right to the Achilles. The Achilles is trying to hit the solar array. 4 successes is enough to hit it. It's stationary. It's only got a 1 dodge, so that's 3 over on successes. But we're only close enough to hit with its large laser. So it's doing 12 fire damage and 6 lingering, and is not enough to destroy it. That means that if they can't destroy it on the next turn, the enemy will be able to summon reinforcements. Okay, so we have movement on round 5. The Reaper took 2 steps so as not to generate a movement modifier to keep itself behind cover, but to get a better shot at its enemies. The Unliving Titan is now dead from lingering fire damage. Achilles is going to step forward too. The Voria is going to move behind cover here. And the Romulus is going to step forward too. It doesn't want to generate a movement modifier either. It's going to go here to get it a better shot. So now its enemy only has partial cover. And thus ends movement for round 5. Moment of truth. Let's see if they can destroy the satellite array. So our Romulus is going to go ahead and cut loose with everything it has. I'm sorry, the Achilles is going to cut loose with everything it has. Okay, it's got 3 successes, which is enough to hit plus 2. Because of the situation, the Achilles is going to reroll its failed successes by spending his luck. You can get more luck, by the way, by exercising your flaws. That's going to give him all 4 more successes, so it's totally worth it. He takes away 1 success for the dodge. We are 6 over, which is great. That's going to increase the damage of everything by 6. And now he's hitting with all of the lasers, the large, the medium, and the 2 smalls. And the base damage is almost enough to destroy it. The lingering fire damage will destroy the array at the end of the turn, which means they've succeeded. Now this is where I'd make a judgment call. I could continue to roll things out, but there's only 1 surviving Necromancer avatar. None of our PC's avatars are in any real danger. One of them has been down the cruise. It's going to need some serious repairs. The pilot presumably has run like over to maybe this tree and hidden, but they're going to easily be able to dispatch the Reaper because it's surrounded, and they've successfully prevented more reinforcements from coming. So I wouldn't roll out the end of the battle. The PC side has accomplished their objective and won the scenario, and that would represent the end.